spots up for the triple.
I would like Trey to come off that pick and roll aggressive and try to turn that corner and get into the paint. There's no shot blockers out there, so you got to get into the paint. They've been doing it earlier and missing. You just got to make the shots.
You scored against California back in the day. Tied Lou Alcindor for the most ever in this conference's history. You remember that night?
Yeah, I do it. And that was a pretty stroke right there. You see the picture perfect form? I like how hard Arizona State is playing right now. They're playing extremely hard on the defensive end, but on the offensive end, these cuts are hard. The big fella came from the other block all the way to the wing instead of pick. I love the way that these guys are out. And this is the pace that Arizona State is going to have to play at. Without having a true big man down there and being undersized, they're going to have to play at a fast pace.
Get you on our scout team, Eddie? You think you can come out on our scout team?
If my knee holds up, my knee be blowing up on me. That's the reason why I can't get out there and play.
Defend,
That's
never
like
mind.
an excuse, yeah.
Well, I never was a great defender. Only here. Passing lane only.
We'll try to guard you.
Jim Watson and the legend, Eddie House. Two good things about working with this guy. He knows this game really well. And all the doors open in this building when you walk around with Eddie. You don't need a credential. The bad part is that everybody wants to talk to you when you're here.
I know I just got a guy tapping on my shoulder while we were going through the highlights. I'm like, gave him a, get off me.
Gotta post him up, box him out.
Give me some space.
You know, we talked about the offense for Arizona State. I thought Bobby Hurley's defense changed the course of that first half as well.
Yeah, they did. They got after it defensively and started forcing Portland into bad shots, long shots, and they rebounded the basketball very well. One thing I would like to see this half, I would like to see the freshman Sam Cunliffe get his first basket.
Yeah, he only took one shot.
I would like him to be in a little bit more control. It seems like once he caught the ball, he already had his mind made up. We call that being predetermined. He needs to just let the basketball play happen for him, and he's seen the double team come. He tried to make an extra play. Just kick the ball. You drew two. You did your job. Pass it to your open teammate. And if you look at Coach Hurley, the way he's on him right now, he's mad because these next few minutes are huge. It's the way you're starting to get your habits together right now. Don't look at the score and say, oh, we got this, we can coach the rest of the game. No, really stretch this game out. Work on things that you need to do, and that's closing out games. So I understand where he's coming from. These next 3 minutes are big for them. When you're a young team and you're trying to figure out what identity you have, this is where you make your statements. But I like the pass by Evans. You know, he drew the double team and kicked it right out to the wide open man. That's good basketball. You live with missed shots like that.
For Shannon Evans, the second.
And the thing, Portland State, they keep switching on pick and rolls, and the big man is on the guards. That's why you see Holder able to get to the basket, Graham able to get to the basket, Evans able to get to the basket, because they're going against the big fellas on the other team.
Just 8 assists a game for 4 years.
I told him the first time I met him, I said, when I was a kid, I couldn't stand you. But he's a great guy, man. He's a great coach.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that I hated when I was younger, but grew to appreciate exactly how good he really was
As
out
you
on
get
the
older.
basketball court. Yeah, they keep switching on the pick and rolls, giving the ISO opportunities for the guards, and that's been part of the problem for Portland State all night, is that they're always giving up lanes for the guards to get to the rim, and the big men are away from the basket to block the shot and getting beat. And you know, I could appreciate a scorer. Myself, I was a scorer, so seeing somebody,
points, yeah.
when somebody putting the ball in the hole like that and getting money, I appreciate it. Tell me how important it was for you guys to come out and get this first win in front of your home crowd.
It was really big for us because last
They keep doubling the big, and see, there's the flash that you need from the big fella. It's going to be a smaller guy. He just didn't finish right there, but that's what they're going to have to do to counter that double team.
A disrupted shot there for Hawkinson.
But he can't wait when it happens. He has to do it as soon as he's seen his man go. He has to be right behind his man.
Let's look back at the other end, Eddie, what you're talking about, this double team.
Well, as soon as the double team comes, Hawkinson has to flash right behind him. He cannot wait a second because the double team will be on Clifford at that point. It'll make it hard for him to pass. So if he flashes right at his man goes, that's his cue for him. He has to almost be on a string with him.
Nice move, Clifford.
That was a really good move. He split the double team again. The double is not coming all the way to the body. If you double team, you have to go to the body. You cannot give any kind of space to allow a guy to split it. That's the same thing on a pick and roll. If you're trapping a pick and roll, you got to trap to the body and not allow gaps or space.
To the gym today, Ernie Kent looked at you and said, that's the guy that put 40 on us at Oregon. And what did you say? You're like, I think it was like 32.
Yeah, because I can remember that. I know I didn't give him 40. It wasn't one of the teams that got it.
No, there were a handful, though.
There was a handful of teams that got some of that business.
How the rims feel here? You got some shots up. They feel like you remember them?
Well, I didn't touch the rim. It just touched net. So
oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't go up and jump and grab the rim. I can't do that anymore. But the nets were fine. Okay. They snapped. They snapped. They made that sound that we love.
Yeah, they had to replace the net in front of the visitor bench here before the game.
I had to make sure everything was working before the teams got here.
Along with Eddie House, I'm Guy Haberman. This point total is the lowest for Washington State this year. What are you seeing from the Stanford defense?
They're just swarming. That's what they're doing. They're just taking Washington State out of what they want to do. And it looks like Ernie Kent wanted to establish the big man early in the inside presence, but Stanford was all over with the double team, disrupting the offense in every which way, causing turnovers, making them take bad shots, rebounding the basketball out of the double team after a bad shot.
With 18 points in the first.
Yeah, he was 4 or 5 from 3, and he got it going early. He made layups, and he made a couple nice passes, and it's not always your shot that can get you going. You can make passes to guys and get a good rhythm.
See out of the Cougs on this side of the floor.
I'm expecting them to try to get the ball to the bigs off of movement, not how they were doing it before. It's going to have to be screens, not just looking straight at them so they can set up the double team. I'm looking for cross screens, down screens, anything that they could do to get movement, because when they throw it, that's nice. When they throw it in that way, he just turns, catches, and dunks. There went my theory.
It was ball movement, though.
It was ball movement and body movements, though, at the end of the day. The big fella, Clifford, flashed to the basket, was able to get it and get a foul. So I like what Coach Kent's adjustment was at half, and that's move the bigs' bodies. Don't just have them standing still. I mean, they have the biggest front court in the Pac-12, 7 foot and 6'10". So you have to try to utilize that.
That's the Eddie House rim right there.
Yeah, that's the shooter's touch. Is that what they call that?
You tell me. You're the shooter.
They call that the shooter's touch. Man.
Although I know you're, I'm offending
You a shooter
you.
too.
You don't like the rim.
Hold up, you a shooter too. Let's tell the people what you did earlier today in a suit. Walked right in, didn't take a warm-up shot, and knocked one down. In dress shoes. That's very impressive to me.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from you, Eddie. Truly, it does. And then, as you said, you make one in a suit, you call it a day.
Yeah, call it a day. You don't have to show me anything else. I'm a believer.
I appreciate it. 9 for Malachi. You talked to him before the game, Eddie.
Yeah, I did. And he was talking about the speed of the game, the athleticism they have around the basket. He has to pick and choose his spots to get to the rim. And that's what he said he's trying to do. He's trying to get to the rim more, but he has to find those spots. He says he's watching film to try to figure it out. But hey, he's a freshman, and this is part of growing. This is the growing pains right here. I've had a game before I was 0 for 16. And it's not what you do there, it's how you bounce back.
Had 18 in the first half.
Very easy for us to pick this. He was passing the ball, made a couple passes. We didn't know how it got there, but it got there for an assist. He's playing good perimeter defense. He rebounded the basketball tonight, shot the ball great from the perimeter. They dared him to shoot, and he met their challenge.